Problem we got to. Yeah, another thing we need to address here is this crossbar that supports the back of the torsion bars. When we put it in, you notice we're going to hit the transfer case before we really get it up high enough to where it's not sticking way down. Of course, we could cut this off across here and reinforce it, but I'm thinking we might end up with some interference where we have to tighten this up if we go very far. Another fix is to just put longer mounts here instead of these short ones that would hold this up against the frame. We could put some longer ones, but then we're way down here. This is already the lowest part of our frame, so don't want to do that. So we're going to have to look at this seriously and see if we can come up with something that'll work. This, the bottom of this support's about 4 inches lower than our transmission mount cross brace. So if we could get that up anywhere up in here, we're right there. We're at the absolute maximum that we can go backwards for the length of our torsion bar. If we go any further, we don't have enough to hook it in the front and the rear. This is the original center of it before we started this project, when we moved the front axle back 1.5 inches. Then this become the center back here, and that's where we had it mounted before we cut it off to move this back. So we can't go back but that much, and that's about it. And that's maximum, and then all this stuff's in the way if we ever have to get to this. So we're going to have to do a little engineering here to figure that out. Okay, what we're going to try here is, this is our transmission rear mount cross brace, and this is our torsion bar rear brace. What we're going to do is cut a hole in here, right there, on that side, and then we're going to cut this off about right here, and we're going to mount this right into this transmission cross brace. Now, to do a couple of things, we can lower it down in here about 3/4 of an inch to give us less sticking down, but it'll also leave the whole center of it open with nothing sticking down there at all. And then we can put our transfer case guard right back on there, right where it came off. And we'll see how this project works out. This off at an angle so that, make sure that we got plenty of meat here and room for our tensioner. That's where the center of our torsion bar goes, in the center of this hole. We'll cut this cross member out there and drop this down into it. Right now we're going to go cut this off right here because we don't need any of this. That'll get it out of the way if we have to get to these bolts and get rid of some of the gob. You can see we've cut out the transmission cross brace and set our tensioners right down in there. At this point, all we got to do is weld it up, but we're going to fit it in the vehicle first and make sure everything's right. We've got everything straight this way, so we know that's lined up. We're lined up good on our center line, which isn't critical. But a couple of things that we did need, these needed to be tilted just a little bit. The torsion bars, man, they're on about a 5-degree angle, so we had to match that. But we also turned it in this direction from what it was to give us a little bit more tension on here. Maybe raise it up a little bit. If we got it backed off all the way, it would be about where stock is, about half the adjustment. And then we added about that much more, about 3/4 of an inch, so that if we needed to tighten it up more, we could. Okay, we fit it up in there. Looks like everything's gonna work really good. We got our angle about right for our torsion bar. We don't have any interference with anything else at all, which we didn't expect. So looks like at this point all we got to do is weld it together and set her in there. Well, there's our finished modified transmission and torsion bar mount. It's all welded into place. We added these little plates on the back, strengthen it up a little bit, but sure makes it look better than the big hole we had. So we'll try it now, and I think it's going to work pretty darn good. A lot of changes here we've made. I hope they don't interfere with each other.